very warm welcome to Talking Business Weekly with me, Aaron Heselhost. Hey, let's go and take a look at what's on the show. From Hollywood to Bollywood, yet the movie world is grappling with a real-life disaster as the pandemic halted almost every major production and release in 2020, from Bond to Wonder Woman. This crisis is threatening the survival of cinemas around the world, but it's also sparked a digital entertainment boom that could reshape the way we consume movies and TV. Hey, I'm going to be joined by these two, from Mumbai, the big boss of an Indian movie might, serving the world's biggest cinema-going nation, and from Dublin, the co-founder of Element Pictures, whose acclaimed lockdown hit, Normal People, has been nominated for 2 Golden Globes. Also on the show, hey, Globetrotters, listen up. Oh yeah, I'm talking to the boss of one of the world's biggest online travel firms. Yeah, it's China's Trip.com, about how COVID is reshaping holidays in China. Certainly a driving force in global tourism. Whether you're joining us from the US, Europe, Africa or Asia, once again a big hello and a very warm welcome. Let's get cracking, shall we? You know, the pandemic has sparked a real-life disaster for the world of film and TV as nearly every major production in 2020 ground to a halt. Yeah, from Hollywood to Bollywood. And the survival of cinemas around the world is now under threat. But there's also been this explosion in digital entertainment, such as streaming, that's reshaping the content and the way we consume it. And the crisis is also upending the way actors have to work today. Take a look at this.
It was a really, really strange experience. And yeah, it can be incredibly lonely. It can be lonely anyway when you're an actor because, you know, you're being taken and dropped out of your comfort zone. But with Servant, you know, we're coming on to season 3 now, and when we were doing season 2, these are people that I've known for 2-3 years now, and being told that I couldn't spend time with them because they were wearing a different color mask to me was incredibly strange. And I know they're only doing it to keep us safe, but it does feel a little bit like we're in this strange novel. It's never an easy time to start acting. There's always a million excuses to not do it, and obviously a pandemic is a pretty good one, but you know, it's never easy. So there's always an excuse to not go for it and to not chase your dreams. But I think maybe now is as good a time as any to start doing something that makes you happy, because I think everybody needs something that makes them happy right now.
Joining me now from Mumbai is Shibasish Sarkar, boss of India's Reliance Entertainment and the co-founder of production house Element Pictures, Andrew Lowe, in Dublin. And I began by asking Shibasish how the pandemic had hit an industry famed for the all-dancing, all-singing Bollywood epics.
Business last March virtually came to a standstill. When I mean standstill, the revenues become virtually zero. Especially in a production house, the shooting got completely stalled. Our films were ready, we are not able to release. But after the first 4-5 months of the situation, we started also taking a certain amount of maneuver, or certain amount of started working how to navigate the situations. We started focusing on non-live action. I mean, we did have, of course, a large animation studio. We started creating a lot of animation stuff, where people have been working from home and providing contents to the channels. But the good part is that it looks like, at least from a country point of view, that things we are out of the woods and things are looking better.
Andrew, in the United States, the National Association of Theatre Owners says something like nearly 70% of small and mid-sized cinema companies actually could go bust. I mean, your firm, you run 2 cinemas in Ireland. How are they faring, and are you calling on the government for more support like they're doing in the US?
Yeah, we had to close our cinemas suddenly in March like the rest of the world, and we opened again in July, closed again in October, opened in December, closed again in December. So it's been a really tough, unprecedented year. We unfortunately are now at a stage where most of our staff have been let go. Thankfully, in Ireland, the government has a support scheme for workers, which means they were better off financially being let go. All our managers are still on our books. So for us, we have just turned to look at the opportunity, to sort of reinvent ourselves somewhat and to examine how we do our business. Can we improve things? We're looking at significant capital investment, bringing in new ticketing systems, for example. So we are confident about our future. We cater for a niche that's very passionate about cinema. We have 2 beautiful architecturally designed city centre venues, a 4-screen in Dublin, a 3-screen in Galway. And so for us, we know our audience will come back as soon as they can. But I think more broadly, the industry is in a bit of trouble.
Shibasish, the director of Wonder Woman, Patty Jenkins, has actually said that the movie going is facing a real threat of extinction. In fact, the rollout of that film has been delayed something like 3 times now. Do you think that's true? And what's the picture in India?
A fortnight back in the month of mid of January, a Tamil film is from a Tamil Nadu. It's a regional film. It came and it was a big tentpole film of that Tamil market. It went on to cross something in the range of 20, almost like as I speak now, it went on to cross a $30 million box office. From Indian market point of view, $30 million box office from one regional language is an earth-shattering number. Now look at Japan. Demon Slayer is an animation film. It went on to cross the highest ever Japanese film in the history of Japan. It went on to cross something like a $300 million. There are films which people will love to see in the big screens where people will come, and there are films which audiences will be happy to see on a streaming platform like a Netflix and Amazon, and both will try.
Andrew, making a film or a TV series safely under lockdown restrictions must be hugely challenging. I mean, you filmed, Eternal Daughter last November with Tilda Swinton. How was that, and what did you learn?
It's a very contained piece. It's set in a country house hotel, single location, tiny cast. Tilda Swinton plays the 2 main leads in the film, a mother and a daughter. It was done by having very strict COVID protocols in place. So we effectively created a bubble around the cast and crew. Most of them lived in and around the estate where we were shooting. We had weekly testing, and we just controlled access for anyone who was not part of the bubble.
Well, on that note, Andrew, I mean, you're due to start filming Conversations with Friends with the director of Normal People, whose trademark is intimacy. Do you just use this? How do you do that?
We are investing very heavily in sort of gold standard safety protocols. So we're actually buying our own PCR machine. We'll have our own lab on site so we can run our own PCR tests and produce results within 90 minutes for the entire cast and crew. And that's a key thing. And we are creating zones within the production so that those working around the camera who will not be wearing masks will be tested 2 and 3 times a week, which is pretty intense.
Shibasish, I'm keen to know how coronavirus has, changed entertainment, has changed the narrative, the storyline, and of course the impact on big Bollywood productions where you've got hundreds of actors and dancers.
Yesterday I was on the floor of one of my shoots which is currently going on. It's a Rohit Shetty film with Ranveer Singh, and it's a dance sequence that's going on. And I checked my production team, and it was like an 800 member head count on the floor with a choreographer, dancers, and etc. So we are trying to make as many like extras have to go through a different exit entry. Actors will be secluded. But when you make a big sequence, big action sequence, big dance sequence, you can't compromise. So of course, last year a lot of shoots got postponed, but things are slowly coming back to normalcy.
Andrew, given what you've both said, let's talk about, the cost of that. How do you absorb that, especially given that, many cinemas may not be fully open in all markets?
We're due to make 2 films this year in Eastern Europe. Yorgos Lanthimos' next film, the director we did The Favourite with, so it's starring Emma Stone. It's a period film set in Victorian London, Paris, Lisbon, Alexandria, and a steamship, and we're building all of that in sound stages in Budapest. And in that instance, it's being financed by Searchlight, who are a division of Disney and Film 4 in the UK, and they are prepared to absorb the cost. So we estimate the additional costs are somewhere between 15 and 17% of the entire production budget, so they're pretty significant.
Andrew, Netflix could dominate in TV and film at the industry's Golden Globe Awards, certainly having the advantage with most cinemas being shut down. Do you think streaming has democratized TV and film?
I would argue that cinema is arguably the most democratic of art forms anyway, so it's really been, sort of accessible to all. But undoubtedly, the streaming platforms have given unprecedented access to content to a global audience. And Netflix are reaping the benefits of that. As you say, they've had 42 nominations in the Golden Globes announced across film and television, which is an extraordinary achievement. It could be argued that streamers are saving the industry this year.
Shibasish, let me ask you this. You're doing an adaptation of the film The Girl on the Train. It's another collaboration you have with Netflix. That film was supposed to go straight to cinemas. The pandemic has put a stop to that. I'm just wondering, is this now or going to become the dominant trend, skipping theatre and going directly to the consumer?
Girl on the Train, incidentally, was shot completely in UK when we adapted the film from the original story. It was ready for release last May. And after almost a year, the digital rights post-theatrical was anyway with Netflix, and then we negotiated, and it's now going for a straight to digital. While last year in India, if I look at it, more than 25 to 30 films must have gone straight to digital. But if I look at even the situation have improved, and even the theaters have opened up, I foresee that a certain section of content or the certain section of film will move or will work towards a straight to a digital platform.
Andrew, can you imagine a streaming service winning Hollywood's top prize at the Oscars in April?
Netflix make an exception for those awards-worthy films. They actually do give them theatrical releases as well as debuting them on the platform. So that's becoming an increasingly attractive option for top-tier filmmakers who previously might have resisted that opportunity. But now, as they see it's possible sort of to have your cake and eat it, so to speak, to both be on the Netflix platform and get access to that huge global audience at the same time, also have a theatrical experience, I think it's only a matter of time before they land that top prize.
Let's end on this. I'm going to end with you, Andrew. We know Shibasish is optimistic, which is great, but I want to ask you, do you see any silver linings for the industry off the back of this pandemic?
One of the things that's been really interesting is to see the importance of culture in a time of crisis. And it's, we had that experience with Normal People, which was released just as COVID kicked in, and it really impacted both in the UK, but also globally. And, there's no doubt had it not been for the pandemic, it wouldn't have had that same effect, because people were at home. It was like a captive audience, and it just came at the right time. And I think one of the things we have seen is how people have taken solace in content generally. I think what we now will see as the world starts to reopen slowly, that people will want to get out of their homes again and return to the communal experience of watching content in theatres, and that's something we look forward to.
Well, on that positive note, Andrew Lowe and Shibasish Sarkar, we appreciate your time. Time does fly. Good luck with everything. You both stay safe and well, and we'll check in with you soon. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Aaron.
Coming up, globe-trotting glut as the Lunar New Year sparks China.